Hello and welcome to Anambra Talks here on ABS Television. I'm sure you're doing well wherever you are, coming back from work, you know. For those getting prepared for night shifts, I think I believe that things are working out fine. But this evening, you'll be thinking, what are they going to talk about? Well, on Anambra Talks today, we want to take a look at accessibility for persons with disabilities during voting. Some of us may not think it's necessary to think about that, but because everybody is equal and we have equal rights, it is actually necessary that we talk about how to get everybody on board during voting. And that's why today we have as guest the CEO and founder of TAP Foundation, Jack Epele, who is here to talk to us about how to get our brothers and sisters, you know, accessible, have access to voting. So Jack, you're welcome to the program. You're not looking bad. You look Nigerian. All right, welcome. Yes, each time we talk about accessibility during voting for persons with disability, that they're being able to vote like all the rest of us. Some people say we don't understand. Would you mind explaining to us what it means having accessibility to vote or to voting and to all other electoral activities? Yes.
Well, not creating access in general terms for persons with disability to participate in any election is equal to denial of their rights. It's equal to marginalization. It's equal to disenfranchisement. Is equal to neglect, is equal to not giving them the sense of citizenship. It's equal to inhuman treatment and every negative thing you can think about. Is equal to not being democratic, you know. But also ultimately is equal to denying them the opportunity to lead.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so giving access to persons with disability to participate in the electoral process is a right. It's not a charity tokenism. It's a right. So you're not doing the community a favor. You are actually helping them to fulfill their God-given purpose. You know, and to contribute to nation building. I started an organization some 20 years ago. I have, well, close to 29 staff. So think about that. More than half of them are married.
Just by you?
Yes.
What about the rest of all, you know, the world? And
exactly.
Nigeria,
exactly.
Anambra State,
exactly.
and then, you know, a community, all the communities in Anambra.
Exactly. You know, the Anambra indigenes that the little effort that I have made has sent abroad, had done masters, at the verge of completing their PhD.
Wow.
I don't know them, and I don't need to know them to help, you know. And so, empowering persons with disability with leadership skills and giving them the opportunity to lead is the best thing anybody can do for the community. But ultimately, access to quality education. I say that when an individual is educated, that person is almost at the verge of breaking through successfully. It's not what defines success per se. Money is not what defines success, but money is the dividends of success. And a successful person who has money is less discriminated than the person who is poor.
Exactly.
The color of money does not discriminate. You know. Yeah, no. So no matter how much you don't like me, if I'm coming to buy something from you and I'm paying you,
we become friends
with dollars, you will quickly take the money. You won't forget the fact that I have albinism. And by the way, I'm very comfortable with the fact that I'm a person with albinism. I thank God every day. I have become not just a national figure, but a global icon.
Anyway, this is not the pedestal for us to talk about your type of albinism, because probably your father gave birth to you with silver spoon or golden spoon or whatever. Let's not talk about it now.
No, I came
but
from the poor of the poorest. I am an example of what God can do.
can you imagine?
God picked me from nowhere, and I'm telling you, nowhere.
And that means that you were given accessibility.
Not
to
really. I was not given. I took it.
At some point.
I was not given. I took it.
Okay, you took accessibility
yes,
by fire, by force.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I was not given a chance in life at all.
You know, that brings me to the next question. You know, each time you talk about persons with disability, helping the person to realize his or her potential, they think, oh, it's a favor to him. Why do we need to get persons with disabilities participating in the electoral process?
Let me demonstrate why with an analogy. If you have an individual in front and everybody puts their hand on the waist, and that individual succumb to being drawn backward, you will notice that everybody goes backward. In other words, when one person is left behind, others cannot move forward. You know, so that's the reason. That's why we must do whatever we can to ensure that persons with disability will live out their potentials and fulfill purpose for the one who created them. Nobody bargains. Nobody bargains. I didn't negotiate with God to create me a person with albinism, even though I'm very comfortable with the fact that I'm a person with albinism. I'm very, very grateful to God that he made me who I am, you know. However, I didn't go into discussion with God to say, okay, make me a person with albinism. He decided by himself to allow me entrance into the earth realm the way I am, you know. And so the way I am to the society can seemingly looks disadvantageous, but look at me. You know, I have learned to turn what the society term disadvantage to advantage. In fact, my story is encapsulated in the statement that it's always rejected by man, selected by God. And that's my story. You know, so we need to do more to ensure that persons with disability participate not only in the electoral process, but in every strata of life. Okay. You know, government that are appointing persons with disability as essays, and I'm looking forward to when government would give them the opportunity, and that's what I was fighting at the federal level, for a person with disability to be appointed a minister. Well, when the president appointed the special assistant, the State House sent him to my office. I should go and tell Jake that he has appointed, but that's not good enough. We want more.
They need to become ministers and governors as well.
Yes, of
course. Now let's take a look at some of the challenges that prevent them from having access to, you know, electoral processes, to voting and other things. What are the challenges?
Number one challenge, the very first one, is this thing called ignorance.
On the part of persons with disabilities?
Yes, many of them are not aware of the opportunities that they have. They are not aware of the provisions of the law that makes it mandatory that INEC must factor inclusion in the electoral process. I just left the office of the resident Electoral Commission.
Okay, REC.
Yeah, the REC will be there tomorrow in our event. And I said to her, you know, I don't want you to send representative.
You must
you show up himself. And he promised he's going to come and we'll stay there till the end of, yeah. Your managing director, who happens to be my friend long time ago, has committed to showing up. And by the way, I want to use this opportunity to thank the managing director, who is running our jingle at no cost to us.
Wow.
That's what to do and how to do it. It's important for the media to be inclusive.
Is in the disability law, Anambra State Disability Rights Law, yeah. It's
yes. There. Oh, yeah. I want to congratulate the governor for passing that law and establishing the commission, you know. But I want to also use this opportunity. I've known Soludo, Professor Soludo, for a long time. You know, when he was CBN governor, he actually assisted the foundation. He did. I must say that. You know, I want to say that this is the time for him to demonstrate the fact that he has always been brilliantly inclusive. Okay. You know,
it started with the last administration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How will he do that? I want him to do something different, and this is what I'm saying. Can we collaborate with INEC? And how many local government do you have here?
21 local government areas.
Okay. Out of the 21 local government area, let's choose like 10, 11. And go around to make sure that all the polling booths, polling units are accessible.
Okay.
It's doable. It doesn't take rocket science. It's doable. Make sure it's accessible. First is the governor of all people, not ABGA, not PDP,
yes,
not APC.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if the community under his leadership participate in the election, it's a plus for him.
Exactly.
You know, so we need to do that. There are simple things that we can do that doesn't need much funding. You know, this is not an advocacy for us to be given, you know, and I want to say it here. I don't take money from government, and I won't start with this. So I'm not interested. My interest is that he can channel that funds to the commission, and through the commission, they work with INEC to establish this, so that you can hold them responsible and accountable for the resources you're giving to them. We can give advice at no cost to anybody.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Now, let's quickly take a look at, you know, create a picture of what happens on electoral date, election days, when persons with disabilities go out to vote. Let's just paint a little picture of what they encounter.
Yes, here's the thing. Number one, I can tell you a few things that can ruin the election and how an election can be non-inclusive. You know, that's exactly the challenges they encounter. Number one is the electoral body. If the electoral body is not aware or refuse to do and carry out steps, even that is in the Electoral Act, that will make for inclusive election, that election will be exclusive. Number two, if the political parties refuse to allow inclusion to reign, and I'll tell you some of those resources that they need, that election will be exclusive. If the security operatives, the security agencies, if they fail to do their job, that election will be exclusive. Ultimately, if the persons with disability community, again, shows ignorant and refuse to do what the law says, that election will be exclusive. So what is it that the law is saying? Electoral Act 2022, Section 54, subsection 1 and 2, captured the legal provision, the clause, that allows INEC and everybody to ensure that election is inclusive. So if in an election, if I feel that the election is not inclusive, I can actually take INEC to court. Okay? So what are the provisions in that clause, or in the two clauses? Number one, priority voting. So persons with disability, and this is what we're bringing to the table in able to vote. Persons with disability are given priority. Priority means they are the first in the line. They are the first to vote.
On voting day.
And go away on voting day. Number two, the blind are guided by their age to
who
vote
they trust.
To vote the candidate of their choice. Okay. The hard in hearing are to be, that we're supposed to provide a sign language interpreter. That's why I'm not saying we should do everything. Let's choose a pilot polling unit and make it holistically inclusive. You understand? The person on a wheelchair cannot cross gutter to go and vote. There are simple practices that doesn't require rocket science.
We're talking about inclusivity.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so when you place a polling booth or a ballot box in a very high place, you won't be able to reach it. So simple thing to do, place it where it's accessible, create a small ramp so that the wheelchair user can go and exercise his right unaided.
Okay.
You know.
Thank you very
much,
much,
the
sir.
security operatives needs to understand these things so that they can implement.
Okay, thank you very much. You've just joined us. This is Anambra Talks, and here we have been discussing advancing electoral access to persons with disabilities in Nigeria. And here with me is the CEO and founder of TAF Foundation, Jack Pele. And at this point, we want to take a little break to, air your message. When we'll come back, we'll talk about why you're here in Anambra State.
Thank you.
Anambra State, are you ready? It's time to raise your voice and shape your future. TAF Africa, with support from the European Union through the Support to Democratic Governance in Nigeria (EUSDGN2) program, proudly presents the Able to Vote campaign, a voter education initiative designed to empower persons with disabilities ahead of the Anambra off-cycle election. Discover your rights, learn how to vote confidently, and be a part of the democratic process. Join us live for this impactful campaign on Tuesday, 20th May at Soprom Hotel and Suites, Onitsha, and the Nnewi Hotel and Event Center, Nnewi, time 9 a.m. prompt. And on Wednesday, 21st May, Hilton Leisure Hotel, Oka, time 9 a.m. prompt. Come and get informed, be inspired, and be able to vote. For more details, follow TAF Africa on social media or visit www.tafafrica.co.
Welcome back to the program Anambra Talks, where I've been having a good time, learning more about inclusivity from Jacob Pele, who is the founder and CEO of TAF Africa. Well, you're here in Anambra, looking bright and handsome, or do I so beautifully handsome, and somebody will wonder, I heard you were in Onitsha. I kept tab of you. We've been in Onitsha on a panel. In Nnewi, 2 places at the time. So I would like to know why you're here. Is it all about inclusivity, accessibility for persons with disabilities?
I think generally we're here because we have a project called Able to Vote, which is a voter education campaign to sensitize persons with disability and their community on their rights and the provision by the Electoral Act in order for them to not only vote, but be voted for. And so this is a campaign to provide the enabling platform for the full participation of persons with disability, not only in election, but in politics in general. And I always use opportunities like this to say that inclusion is not just about election. Inclusion it cuts across the board. We want to see an inclusive governance. And we have framework that we have provided for a lot of state governments. I haven't done it for Anambra State, but we have provided.
You're thinking of doing it?
Well, we can. Sometimes it happens when we're invited, but a number of states, we have provided the framework for inclusive governance. We're doing one now in River State. Despite the volatile nature of River State and all that, we're doing that. So basically, we're here to bring the community of persons with disability before INEC, and INEC REC is coming with entire management. So they will have the opportunity to ask them questions. What do you have for us? What can you do for us? What can the community do for you? And all that. So it's interactive.
So when is it happening? Because
tomorrow.
Okay,
tomorrow
you'll have another program Able to Vote?
This is the grand finale.
Is it a town hall meeting or
it's structured like plenary.
Okay, plenary session, okay.
Yes, so there are people that we bring and these interactions happens, including the police, because there is also, we're the first organization in this country to organize the Inclusive Security Summit, where we had all the commissioners of police and were able to arm them and then give them information around what the security operatives can do to enhance inclusive election, speaking about security perspective. We also have a segment for media. So I'm inviting you, your managing director and other chief executive will be there to talk about what the media can do to enhance inclusion. you know, and of course the traditional rulers, the role that they will play. One of the Igwes will be there as a royal father. People in civil society, people in academia, all walks of life.
So it's like you've touched different parts of the economy.
Yes.
You know, different parts of our existence. You've touched it that. That's why I want to actually find out, you know, your feelings about cascading this. You know, not letting the story to just die away tomorrow after the program, but cascading it and making it a living being at the end of it all.
Well,
sustainability is what I'm talking about.
Yes, I agree. As a matter of fact, I do not do any project that is not sustainable. That's why I work with the locals, you know, and empower them to do better what I am trying to do. And so the idea is also to groom advocates. And you see them tomorrow. They are champions of inclusion that we support, you know. I mentor most of them. By the way, I have raised well over 80 leaders. And they've been with me for the past 20 years. Although it's specifically from the albinism community, you know, most of them are here, you know. Well over 80 leaders. Many of them are doing very well. By the way, this will shock you to know that when it comes to the disability in general, in INEC portal, this is, please go to INEC website, you will see what I'm saying. The registered voters with disability, albinism is #1.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because of the strategic advocacy that we do. So my people are well aware, and we have had many of them. We produced a governor, we produced House of Assembly members, we produced one of the first House of Representatives who has albinism, although he died, you know. Yeah, so we do have champions of inclusion.
Okay.
You know, and myself, have done a little bit reasonably well nationally and
internationally. Well, we don't have much time, but before we go, you know, most times, self-pity kills any good thing you want to start off, any good project, any good vision and all this. So, and I'm happy that you said you're working with the community of practice, that's community of persons who are affected. You look like people with albinism and then persons with other persons with disabilities. You know, so how do you think families, communities can accept inclusivity? Apart from what you're doing, I should be doing that as a member of as a member of this community. I should be doing. So how do you think we can activate a lot of persons in communities, in families, working to make sure that persons with albinism, PWDs also work to muster self-courage for themselves?
Right. Number one thing to do is begin with you. I want to challenge you that when we leave the studio, find 1 or 2 persons with disability. You're a very pretty woman. I've known you for, seen you in broadcasting for over the... So a lot of people will want you to mentor them, you know. Start by mentoring one. Start by giving that person access. And everyone that is watching, if all of us can say, today, I will adopt one person with disability in spite of that, that person may be smelling. Give him soap to clean up so that you can interact with that person and give that individual a sense of belonging.
Okay.
It's important to do that. So the change we want to see begins with us. So start where you are, become a self-advocate for persons with disability, not only for an area of inclusion, but generally. But also, it's important for you to empathize with us, not sympathize with us.
Yes, sympathy, that's the word.
Yeah, sympathy is abusive. Anybody that sympathizes with you will eventually abuse you. But anybody who empathizes with you will show you true, genuine, godly compassion, you know, and will be able to help you out. But ultimately, be your own cheerleader. And can I end by saying this? The day you and I were born, we cried, and everyone around us rejoiced.
Yes.
We must live our lives so that the day we die, we will rejoice, and everyone around us will cry. That's a life of contribution.
Thank you very much. When we walk like this, when we talk and walk the talk like he does, that's Jake Epele does, I think inclusivity will actually help us grow and develop our society. Thanks a lot for joining us. My name is Ifeanyi Nwachukwu, and I want to thank you, the CEO and founder of TAF Foundation, Jake Epele, for coming to us. I will ask you...
I didn't tell you that you were just quarter to me.
Definitely. Okay, no problem.
So
but I'll come. I'll come. So keep preaching inclusivity, and it will help us. My name is Ifeanyi Nwachukwu, and once again I say thank you very much for holding on for everybody.
Thank you. I'm sure when your children see you on tube, they say, mommy, mommy.
Just like they say to you, daddy's on air. Well, thank you very much. I want to thank everybody that helped make this program a success.